And we're back.
And we're back.
And we're back in Tzfat, right next to the Hesder Yeshiva, right outside. We're in Tzfat, and we're going. Shlomo Yankiv. Shlomo Yankiv. Nice. Towel.
Thank you.
Nice robe. Techeles. The towels of two cool techeles. We got Adas Karach over here. Oh, Rivka says you're wearing that because we're in Tzfat.
Oh, very good.
Yo, craziest thing just happened. So we're outside the Arizal show. Obviously, the Arizal show is almost never open, and it's like right before Shir, like 24 Shir, and some yid was like going inside. We're like, "Yo, are you going into the Arizal show? Can we come check it out?" And he said yes, and he gave us a pamphlet, and we learned some Kiss the Ari, and we lit a candle in the schus of the Chayalim and the Nichtafim, and in the schus of Yeshiva's Gula show. Which besides that, to continue growing and continue steiging. And in the schus of the Arizal, we should continue steiging. Mila. Says the Arizal. I'll start shir today with the shtickle from the Arizal. An unbelievable shtickle. Says the Arizal that the Arizal told Chaim Vital, it's brought down, that shekomash izig sheniftachu lo shari chachma v'ruach kodesh, everything that Rizal was able to get to, that it was open to him, the gates of wisdom and ruach kodesh, is b'schar shaya samech v'asiyat kol mitzvah simcha gedola le'ein tachlis, it's in the reward, it's in the reward that he was doing every mitzvah with a lot of simcha that you can't even comprehend. Endless simcha. That's how the Arizal was zochet to become the Arizal. Was simcha. Shteigs, we can't hear you.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Simcha, shel mitzvah. I call it Judemonia, slippy yid and sloped and numb from all the Jewish
phobia.
Okay, so we were at a touch. Remember, the Mishnah implied that only when the wine gets into this hole is the wine become yain nezech. Rav Huna out of nowhere is like, oh, by the way, my name is Rav Huna. I'm in Amira, and I'm going to be chalek on a Beferish Mishnah, and I'm going to say that it's the second it starts to trickle down, it becomes tuma. What's that called, Rif? Trickle down tumanomics over here. So we're saying, well, how do you understand our Mishnah? So we said, wait a second, what about our Mishnah? Right?
Trickle down Spritzonomics.
Trickle down tumanomics over here.
I said trickle down Spritzonomics.
Trickle down Spritzonomics. Yeah, Shaiman. There's different girza. That's a DVJ girza over there.
Over here.
Okay, so we asked, wait a second, what about our Mishnah that you take the God Be'uta from the idolater, even though he takes from his hand and puts it in the tapuach? So Rav Huna says, no, they're talking about a God Be'kuka. And Malaya, it was blocked and it was full. So when they stepped on the grape, it just stayed there. It didn't trickle down at all because it was already like so full that like the liquid didn't like trickle. It just kind of got suspended in midair. There was already so much wine on the floor. If you wanted to get drunk in the old days, you had to drink foot wine. There's no other way. So then we said, oh, but it doesn't become yain nezder until it goes down to the bore. So here too, he says, no, talking about a god pekuku malay. It's filled up and it's blocked off before the gat, before the before the bore, before the hole. Right? Wait. Yo, is someone trying to get into my Apple ID in Amsterdam? Do not allow. Sorry, Amsterdam. Not now, though. I'm not changing my Apple ID in the middle of Sheer. Middle of Sheer? Tashma.
Come and listen.
Tashma.
Come in here. I did it backwards.
Nice. Yeah, but like whatever, it's not a Lach L'Moshe Sinai. It's just Rabbi Kramer the Red. I should hold it further from me. The thing, do you want to volunteer? Position so they can see like the whole Maimon. I know. I want to show you guys the Maimon of where we are. I already did a video like of this. I don't know. I mean, try not to get so caught up in camera because the Iger is not the there. The Iger of steiging there is the steiging, not the there.
Oh,
So I give a quick look see. I give a quick look see to the makim, and then
you look like you're by Sans.
What?
You look like you're close to Sans.
I might be. We're close to the yeshiva Hesder over here. So they were very nice, and they said, "Yeah, you can come give shir inside by us." And I was like, "Yo, I talk a might," but then I was like, "Yo, let me give shir outside."
Yes.
Oh, Bahi. All right, Tashma. Yara the bor Masha bor Azar Vashar Mutter. So it's saying that it goes down into if the wine goes into the hole, whatever's in the hole is Aser, and everything else is Mutter. Says Rav. So says the Gemara to Ravuna. Boom, you got you, Ravuna. So you're telling me that if it's not in the hole, it's Mutter. It's not Yayin Nesach. But wait a second, something that's not in the hole, it still might have trickled down towards the hole. Ravuna is saying it trickles down towards the hole. That's when you're chayiv. That's when it becomes yain nezech. Seems to be the third time that our very Mishnah slugs up Rav Huna. Rav Huna lo kashya. Rav Huna's like not a question. Rav Huna's out here saying is like controversial pshat, and he's saying not a question. What you think I don't know that Mishnah? Rav Huna is like I'm an Amayra. You think I don't know the Mishnah? So Rav Huna says not a question. This is Mishnah Rishayna and this is Mishnah Achrayna. So this is what we did yesterday, but we didn't see the Rashi. Now we're going to see it with the Rashi, right? It says the Gemara, not a kasha. This is Mishnah Rishayna, this is Mishnah Achrayna. So they asked Bashar Mutter, the hit the lyre, the shach, it trickled down. The Gidani Masha because Mutter. And it taught what was in the press before it got down to the hole is Mutter, but it still trickled down. Kasha Ravuna. Zog Rashi, Nishtazach. Rashi didn't say nothing. Okay. So this is Mishnah Rishona, this is Mishnah Achrayna. So what is that? Titania, because it says in the Brisa. This Brisa is a Tosefta in Perek Ches Alacha Aleph. Perek Ches. Okay. Okay, I guess there are 8 paragim in the Tosefta in Avodah Zarah. Okay. So he says in the beginning, Birishona, they were saying Beis Daled Daled. And Rashi says Beis Daled Daled, Beis Simanim. We were yesterday, we got this. We nailed it. This is a sign. It's Botzrim and it's right? It's you can't do Bitsira, you can't harvest with the idolater begat in the wine press. So what does that mean in the wine press? Maybe they were like, where are they going to build the wine press if not right next to a vineyard? You know, what kind of city planning is building wine presses far away from vineyards? No. So you can go to the vineyard that's near the wine press, but you can't harvest it with an idolater because because you're not allowed to cause impurity to the mundane food that is in Israel, right? The ain't dorkin, and you cannot step with the yid. Shows the berosa bituma that he's not magdur and tuma and tara. He's gonna step on it because they over avera. You can't help the guy doing the avera. So you can't do Bitsira with the guy or Duricha with the Jew who is not magdur on tuma, but you can dorkin with an idolater, right? About dorkin with the idolater in the God. And it says the Lokashina and the Ravuna, we're not worried about Ravuna. Now that can't be part of the Brisa because Ravuna was an Amira. And so they're not talking about him in a Brisa. So that must be the conclusion, right? So according to the in the Mishnah Rishona, we're not chashash, we're not v'choshes, we're not worried about Ravuna. We're not worried about Ravuna in the Mishnah Rishona. Right? At the beginning, they weren't worried about Ravuna. Yeah, so the Mishnah, which says that if it trickles down, if it doesn't get into the hole, that's according to the Mishnah Rishona. And obviously, that's the same thing that you can't harvest the grapes with the yid who does his fruits impurely. Umoziv alav Yisrael sha'av ein dorch anymore. And in addition, the yid, you can't even step with him because you can't be machzik yidei vera. You can't help. Let's say you can't help the guy doing the vera. The tzira is a gorim tuma. She'avozo molilo legad ve'agad tanaya. Because when you harvest the grapes close to the wine press, you harvest the grapes and you bring them to the wine press, and it's tuma. Right? And then it says, Rashi says, "Yidei over avera." You can't help the hands of the over avera. And Rashi says, explained it above. Explained above why is it considered helping, right? Because the avera is that these dorechet in a tamei wine press, and the second you step on it, then it gets wet, and then once it gets wet, it becomes mukhshar, able to be mikabel tova, and so you're machzik yidei over avera by helping this guy make his grapes tamei. But that was the Mishnah Rishona about dorchim and avigom. It says the cave and the kvar nitnu, since they're already impure, the lav over avera who shalom nitstave shari. The guy has no iser to have impure grapes. It's only the yid that can't have impure grapes. But the guy, it's already whatever. It's already impure, and you're not helping him eat his impure grapes, drink his impure grapes. He's a guy. He's not commanded not to have impure wine, right? So, therefore, it's visible. The lochayzina, the Ravuna, we're not worried about Ravuna. The Misrei, to make it other, Mishom Mishtaker B'Yisrael Mishahidrel Limazech, because you're getting, because according to Ravuna, you would be getting hana, you would be making money with an Isser Hana. Why? Because the second you step on it, it already becomes Yayin Nezech. The Eino Yayin Ajir the Bor. But this is, we're saying in the Mishnah Rishona, we weren't worried about Rav Huna's shot because we're saying, listen, it doesn't become Yayin Nezech until it gets into the bore. So you're not like making money by creating idolatry or an idolatrous thing. The Chazru Lomar, they went back to say Dalit Beis Dalit. In Dorchim Ima Agum Begat. You can't even step with the idolater in the Gat because of Rav Huna. We are worried about Rav Huna. In the end, like at the beginning, they were worried about Rav Huna, but in the end, they weren't worried about Rav Huna. Now this pen might as well be in net because it doesn't work. End of joke. Okay. Yo, Schlig, you hear that nep quip? The ain bodrin in Israel, and you can't collect with the year that is Peros time. Maybe it goes again in Dorchin. And of course, you can't step with the yid in the impure wine press. Aval bodrim ima agum begat, but you're allowed to botzrin, you're allowed to harvest with the non-Jew in the wine press, even though you're not allowed to step with him. Why? Because this guy holds that you're allowed to cause tuma, to profane, to chulin in Eretz Yisrael. The aim both in Israel, and you can't harvest with a yid. The mishum the gorim tuma because it's causing tuma. The aval gavin, even though this viral on even though now we're holding it mutter to cause tuma to chulin, like it says in the end, Hane Mile the Obed Glab, not only talking about for a guy, Aval Yisrael to Vulim the Truma, but the Yid, there's another problem. It's not just Tuma, but there's also a problem that it's Tevel. Tevel is non-tithe. It doesn't become Truma. And so it's Tevel. The Azra grown Tuma the Truma, and you can't cause impurity to the Truma. Because it says in Pasuk, so here I'm giving you the watch of my watchings for my trumas. So it says betray true state trumas because the medaber is talking about two different types of truma. That can't become tame. What's the second type of truma? The truma, and then what's the other one? Tevel. I'm gonna blind shver. The answer can be found in Bechoros Davla Medalet Amar Aleph. The two types of truma, but we're just sitting out here. The Gemara is inside, but I'm not gonna go check it out. But there's two trumas that they're talking about. Either way, you can't cause truma. What is it? Trumas? I don't know the other type of truma. But in this case, it's going to become truma, and it's going to become impure, and you're causing the truma to become impure. That's why you can't pick with a yid. But if you're picking with a guy, it's okay. It's becoming impure. Doesn't matter, because the second Mishnah, right? The first Mishnah and the second Mishnah. At the beginning Mishnah, we thought that it's usher to cause the mundane fruit of Eretz Yisrael to become tamei, and here they become impure. And the second one, we're like, listen, you could do b'tzira with the guy, you could harvest with the guy, because listen, this guy, okay, it's gonna become tamei, it's gonna go right to the gut, right to the impure wine press. But who cares if it becomes tamei? The guy has no isser about that. What about truma? The guy also has no truma about that. What? The two trumas. I rather say, I know, but I rather say I don't know what the second truma is, and bleib shver. then start looking into an art scroll, because the person starts going into an art scroll according to the Rashash. Don't tell me. The Mishmerish Truma. If we had a Bechoros, we would look at it. I appreciate the offer, but we cannot allow the floodgates to come in on looking at art scroll. What? Yeah, but you're looking at art scroll. Okay, well, give me this art scroll. All right, this is going right in the garbage. No more art scroll this year. It's too hard. It's too hard for the Talmidim. It's too tempting. You know, it's too tempting. We do not look at art scroll. This is the Derek Halim. We do not look at art scroll. You got a harava. But I'll tell you what, Rick, you can have the art scroll. Just don't, tell us the Chidush Arad. All right. Anyways, the Eino Ose Yayin Nezech Ad Sheyeri the Bor. So we're back quoting the Mishnah that it doesn't become Yayin Nezech. It doesn't become Yayin Nezech, which is wine that you spill out until it goes into the hole, right? Until it goes into that hole. Ask the Gemara, the Hatanya, but didn't we learn in a
Raisa?
Raisa? Yayin Mishiyikfe Amarava Lokasha Harabi Akiva Harabanan. Oh, we just missed learning this shtickle by Rabbi Akiva. I was really hoping tomorrow or yesterday that we would remember Rabbi Akiva. I was hoping that we were going to see Rabbi Akiva. So Rabbi Akiva is following us.
And his lips are moving.
His lips are moving. It's true. I can see him. Okay. So it says, doesn't it say it's Yayin Misha Yikfa? Hey, it doesn't come Yayin Nezach until it falls into the hole. And then they wait a second. Doesn't it say the wine from when the time that it's Yikfa? We have to see what the Yikfa is. See the Rashi. Rava says, Rava, no, it's not a question. It's a Machlokas Gemara tonight. One is Rabbi Akiva, and one is the Rabbanan. Oh, it could be that the Mishnah we learned yesterday was the Rabbi Akiva Mishnah, and we just didn't know.
Wow. He was the Nister.
It could be that Rabbi Akiva was the guy who taught us this Mishnah.
That's unbelievable.
Let's see, right? It says it's not, because it says in a Mishnah, Yayin Misha Yara the Bor. Nah, I said could. It says wine when it goes into the hole, and then Rabbi Akiva is cholek. He says Misha Yikveh. When it gets this thing of Yikveh, says Rabbi Akiva. So we go to Rabbi Akiva and we learn a Mishnah that he argues on specifically. Rabbi Akiva is like, no, not that Mishnah. No, I'm kidding. He wasn't saying no, not the Mishnah, but Rabbi Akiva was like, oh, just wait till they hear what I got to say on this sug. Yain Misha Yara the Bor, Rabbi Akiva over Misha Yikveh. Ibailu, they asked him, Kivoy the Bor, oh Kivoy the Chavis. So Misha Yikveh is like when maybe like a little bit of stuff like gets on top of it, When stuff gets on, when the top of it, Yikveh is like stuff like on the top of it becomes like the top of the wine that's open to the air. So it could be that wine. It could be that at that point, once the top of the wine starts reacting to the air. So Rabbi Akiva says at that point it becomes yayin nesek if it is then touched by an idolater. So we're saying, wait a second, but this kivoy, which is exactly what it is. This kivoy, is it talking about the kivoy of the boar? That the whole, like the wine hole, like that happens to that, or kivoy de chavis, or kivoy of a chavis, it turns over, it it has this thing that happens, but not in a boar, but already when it's moved into a chavis. What's a chavis? A barrel. Tashma. Wait, before we get to Tashma, let's see Tachashi. Wait, we already missed the Rashi anyways. The kosher games ain't dorchin. And certainly they're not dorech, right? Shedrichazan mitamazan, because when they step on it, it becomes taveh, and then you're helping, right? When the Jew who is not makbid on the tumah of the peros and the tara of the peros, when he steps on it, so it becomes tameh automatically once the wine starts squirting out, and now you're helping the Jew eat impure wine. Okay, so now the yayin mishayikfeh. That's what the price says. It says havi gemar malacha le'inyan meiser. The kivoy of the wine, that's the end of the malacha, the Indian meiser, about meiser. The azer bo shtias arai. Until it gets this kifoy on the wine. It makes azer the shtias arai, the like you could just like drink it in the field, like just drink it here and there, but not when it's mishayikveh. Says Raji, mishayikveh is lashon tzaf, shteigs.
Yo.
So I said I was bliving shver on mishayikveh, but I think it's talking about the top of the wine when it's like reacting with the air. That's what I said. Zog the Gemara, mishayikveh is lashon tzaf. Mishayikveh is talking about like the floating. Kimo kava tehuma b'mizerasuga, like that the home like came up, floated up in mizerasuga. Shetzavin hachartsonim ayayin kishehu nach bebor. So it's not talking about like some, like it's the wine on the top is like reacting with the air. No. But it is talking about the top of the wine. I had a feeling this was talking about the top of the wine. I don't know how I knew that. But it's when the stems and stuff come up to the top of the wine. That's mishiyikfeh.
Ah. Right.
So somehow I knew that it's dealing with the top of the wine, but I didn't know exactly in what way. Comes Raji and says exactly what way, which makes more sense because the wine is always like moving. There's no like top of the wine, So I guess Rashi was make more sense when the stems come up to the tickety top. So Rabbi Akiva's cholek on the Mishnah we learned by his kever yesterday. He's like, no, it doesn't have to go into the hole. It's when the wine starts coming up. So we say, well, when the wine starts coming up in the hole, or when the wine starts coming up in the barrel, right? Ibailu. So they asked Rabbi Akiva, but what type of kifoy? That he come to the chartzanim come up to the top of the hole, or the top of the chavis, the top of the barrel. Tashma, come in here. Tashma, come and listen to Tanya. Because in Brisa, yayin mishayikfe. Wine, once the chartzanim come up. Aval bisha gava kolit minagat el yona uminatzinor v'shose. Shmamina kivoy debor kamrina shmamina. So the Gemara is saying like this. I'll show you a brisa. I'll show you a brisa which will I'll show you a brisa which will I'll show you a brisa which will show you what Rabbi Akiva is talking about. Is it kivoy debor or kivoy dechavis? So the brisa says wine when it becomes kivoy, and even though it becomes the sediment rises, it's kolet minagat el yona uminatzino v'shote. Even though it goes up in the bore, you can still take from the gat to Elyon. Remember, the gat was Elyon, the wine press was above, and then it would trickle down into the hole. So even though the wine in this idolatrous wine press, the sediment comes up to the top of the wine, but still you can go to where you were stepping into the wine press, and you can catch a little and drink it. Says the Gemara, we see from here that once the sediment rose in the hole itself, it became usher, because it says, yeah, you can catch some wine on its way down to the hole, but once it's in the hole, you can't take it. So we say shmami. No, we hear from here that once the sediment raises in the hole, it becomes yayin nezach. It doesn't have to wait until it gets into individual barrels to become yayin nezach. V'hadani Rav Zvid b'devei Rabbi Ivan. Doesn't Rav Zvid teach this brisa in the house of Rabbi Oshia? Yayin mishayar lebor v'yikveh. Wine, once it comes to the bore, to the hole underneath the wine press, and the yikveh, and then the sediment comes up. And Rabbi Akiva says mishe yishle v'chavios. Rabbi Akiva seems to say no, it's only when you put it in the individual barrels. So says the Gemara, Tirtza Nami Lahach Kamaisa. So we can answer that first thing that we learned. Halchi Yayin Shir the Bor V'Yikveh. So the first opinion of this brisa that Rav Zvid brings, you could say that it's talking about wine that went into the hole, and then like the sediment rose. Rabbi Akiva says, "Mishiyish leVechavios." Rabbi Akiva saying that it's when it is put in barrels. But wait a second, in our Mishnah, the Gidani Eino Osa Yayin Nezach Akir before. Oh, Shalom Aleichem, we're here in Tzfat. So our Mishnah that we saw yesterday, that says that it doesn't become Yayin Nezach until it falls into the hole. Lema Tlosa Tanai. Are we saying that there's three opinions in the Tanaim over here? No, don't say that. Shiny yayin nezer, dachmiru berabanan. Yayin nezer, like adologous wine, the rabbis were super duper machmir on. And so that was their abundance. So for them, even before the wine, when it came to maybe Truma and Meiseres, so it rises up, and that's how you know that like you can't just go and drink this. You have to take Truma and Meiser from it when the sediment rises. But when it comes to Yayin Nezech, even before the sediment rises, once it's in the hole, the Rabbanan were Machmir. Yichmir Rabbanan. Rava. By the way, these are very hard Gemaras. A lot of tastes. Look at the size of these dapim. They're like tiny dapim. Because Tosfos is just going off because these such hard Gemaras. Rava delo shiny lay, mokim lay, kitlazit tonight. But Rava who says that there's no difference. There's no difference between what? Between Yayin Nesech and Truma and Meiser. We have to see what Rava says there's no difference. So he says, yeah, there are really three Tanaim. You have Rabbi Akiva, you have the Ramim, and you have the other Tanakama of the Mishnah. What we see from here, by the way, so the Mishnah we learned yesterday, it wasn't completely Rabbi Akiva free. That Mishnah, Rabbi Akiva had what to say about it. You know, he's like, go to Tzfat and see. You know. Okay.
He said Tachazi.
He's a tachaz. So, Alba Bija Kappa, we say in the Brisa, that even though what happened in the bore, it already, the sediment rose. She'ozo, Shaloyar, the bore, lo nigmar malachto, if it didn't go into the hole, it's not considered Gemar Malacha that so that like you shouldn't be able to drink it yet because it's not Yayin Nesach yet. You can still stick your cup and catch it dripping down. DVJ is like, what? Stick? Cup? You can catch it while it's trickle down tomonomics. Umin Atzinor Magom Darach Mirzav Al Mikalech Haya in Lavor. So the wine would pass through also this this sort of grate. I want to say it's this grate. Hey Rivka, look at this grate. You think this grate is great? They might have had in the wine press. You guys see that grate? It could have been something like that. And so you can get the wine from the tzinor also. You can get the wine from the tzin also. From the tzin or also. Okay. So, but this isn't Rabbi Zvid. Right, so we wanted to prove that it's talking about the kifloy of the bore, that the sediment, the sediment rises in the bore. You can say, okay, that's the machlokas. The Chachamim say it has to get into the bore and into the hole. And Rabbi Akiva says, no, the sediment has to rise in the hole for it to be considered really Gemar Malacha to become Yayin Nesach. But didn't Rabbi Zvid say a brisa in the house of Rabbi Oshia? Is it Masniz in the Bei Rabbi Oshia? Oh, is it a Mishnah of the Bei Rabbi Oshia? Okay, I think, yeah. So it says that the first opinion is that the yayin, when it goes down and it becomes kifoy, so it goes down into the hole and the sediment rises. And Rabbi Akiva says, no, Mishi Yishla Bechavios, like Rashi, Mishi Bechavios, Loznon Ashola Dagim in Ayam, when it pulled up, right? Ashola is like lifted up. When you come and you can ladle, you ladle the wine out into a pit.
We got about 5.
Perfect. The mayor Anenu. The Chimvar above Mitzia, Beshok is a Bailim, the El Gedani, the Rabana, Mishir, the Born, and we give him Mishif Yikfa. So now we're saying, wait a second. Here, Rabbi Akiva seems to say that if it goes into, you have to put it into the barrel. So wait a second. But now our Mishnah that talks about it has to go into the bor, Hayara the bor, Avabisha Lokiva Haviyai. So the sediment doesn't even have to raise. So now we have 3 opinions. When does the wine complete? When it goes into the hole, and the sediment raises, when you ladle it out, when you scoop it out of the hole and it goes into the chavis, into the barrel, and the sediment raises. So that seems like there's 3 opinions. I'm saying, wait a second, there's 3 opinions over here. So first we say Nema, Rashi says Nema Kiyechi the Gitani le'inyan Nezech Achanami Sphere le'inyan Meiser Ubalagar Abanan V'Adarev Yekiva. So he's saying like this. The Masdizin that teaches Sheishla. But what about our Mishnah that talks about it doesn't become wine? Yainezah until it goes. So Lema, and Rashi changes that to Nema. Lema, you should say Nema, we should say. When you're talking about the Mishnah, talking about for Yainezah, so here too, he holds like that for, right? He holds like that for Meister, that, right? That there's 3 opinions, right? The plus of Denai, Tanadida, in our Mishnah, he holds it when it goes into the hole, and the Rabbanan hold when the sediment goes up in the pit, and Rabbi Akiva says no, when you put it into the chavis, into the barrel. So we're saying there's 3 Tanaim. Do they know the Rabbanan? Really, the Rabbanan are the same ones that hold, right? But Meiser, it's either like they hold like the Rabbanan or like Rabbi Akiva. Either they hold that the sediment has to go up, or they hold like that the sediment goes up in a barrel. But when it comes to Zugidi Nesach, then the Rabbanan hold that it just has to go into the pit, even if the sediment doesn't go up. But look, to Rava, that doesn't have a difference. It says Mideh Osivna Leel Meiser Miyain. From the fact that Rava asks the question of Meiser, right? He quotes a Mishnah talking about Meiser, asking the question on wine. The Maznizin Shnia, right? Rava lo kasha alma lo shani, like there's a Miyayin Nezach in our Mishnah, and Rava learns from it. So we see that Rava doesn't make a difference between, right? There's more machmir by wine, by Yayin Nezach, more machmir by Meiser. The Ishani Lema shiny Yayin Nezach, you'll be able to answer it very quickly. The reason that it's different, right, is because this is talking about Yayin Nezach and this is talking about Meiser. For the fact that he doesn't say this is Yayin Nezach, this is Meiser, we see that Rava doesn't hold up a difference in Yayin Nezach and Meiser in the terms of how machmir it is. And if he doesn't, then he has to say that there are 3 Tanaim, right? You have to say Mokila Kitlas Tanai, that you say that there are 3 Tanaim. And now we are on Nun Vav Amud Beis. Shkoyach Gadol.
Shkoyach.
Shkoyach Gadol. We got another dav, 2 dav. We got another few davim left, but we got to Nun Vav Amud Beis. Shkoyach Gads. We got another like 5 dav until we get to the end of the parak. DVJ, what's the stig? Okay, I got a minute. In Tzfat, we learned about the got. Got to get the got, and hopefully it's tahor. But if it's damei, sometimes you can do it stepping on with a non-Jew. because it's not usher for him. It make wine impure. But with the Jew, it is. You have to be more machmir. Now we're here in Tzfat, outside the Yeshivas has there. And we steig in everywhere, everywhere. What else happened in today's year? We learned about Rav Huna, we did a little Chazar, Rav Huna's Shita, and then we saw Rav